Welcome to Murder with the Misses. I'm Amy.
And I'm Haley.
And today we're going to talk about Donna Adelson.
Don't forget to smash that like button. Check out the description for the links of all of our podcast platforms, CashApp, and Buy Me a Coffee. Like, share, subscribe, and don't forget to tell your friends.
Here we are. The ladies have arrived. We are going to be talking about Donna Adelson today. Now, I know that we are late to the game on this one since we've been in recovery and doing all the things, but I sat through the trial, so I need to tell you guys about it because that's why I do a podcast. I like to tell things to people. And there's actually some people probably out there that have not heard of the wild case of the Adelsons. So here we are. And this is, I believe, trial number 4 for the murder of Dan Markel. There was a joint trial that led to a hung jury for one of them. So then that was Katie. She had to have a second trial. So that was 2. And then there was Charlie Adelson, who had trial number 3. And now we're at Donna Adelson, trial number 4. Yeah.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. There's a lot of people in this one. And the question is Donna the last one? Like, this may not even be it. This could just be the first part. Yeah, there's a lot. And that is the third of the $1 million question. You'll understand that in a second. I'd throw it in there. Now, there are 2 Adelsons in prison now and 2 more that could be headed that way. So you're going to have to hear the case and then tell me what you think is going to happen. And there's, like I said, a lot of people involved. So I'll do my best to try to navigate it without too much confusion. Now, Donna and Harvey Adelson are the parents, and they have a dental practice in Florida called the Adelson Institute. They have 3 kids. Rob is the oldest, who married outside of the Jewish faith, so he's kind of out of the loop when it comes to family stuff. He's still in contact with family at this time. Not now, but during the case. But, he's not day-to-day heavily, and you'll see how heavily this family is involved with each other. Then you have the middle child, Charlie, who was a traveling periodontist, and he loved the ladies, his Ferrari, and he loves to talk. Oh my God, he talks a lot. And then there's Wendy, who's the baby of the family. She's a lawyer, and she's the one who married Dan Markel, who's the victim in the case we're going to talk about today. And they had 2 sons.
So Dan was Jewish?
Yes. So
Okay.
Dan was Jewish, but he would eventually, or maybe not eventually, but he would become too Jewish for Donna's liking.
Okay. Donna's one of those people you just can't please then.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Right. Yeah, she's the matriarch, and she's the puppet master, and she's very meticulous about things. You'll see. She wanted her kids to be with someone just Jewish enough. But I believe I read somewhere that Dan wanted the catering at their wedding to be kosher. And he was told by Wendy and Donna, yeah, this is totally kosher, but it wasn't. So, it's things like that. She's manipulative.
Oh my gosh.
Either way, yeah. Now that's speculation because I didn't dive into that. I just heard it brought up and I was like, that's rude. But Donna, Harvey, and Charlie, they lived in Miami, Florida. And Wendy and Dan with their kids lived in Tallahassee. Both Wendy and Dan taught at Florida State University, but they would end up getting a divorce. And when she wanted to relocate to Miami with the boys to be near her family, Dan in the court actually said, no, you can't just take them way down there. Now, this is going to bring us to July 18th of 2024, where just around 10:45 a.m., Dan was shot in his garage after he arrived home from the gym. And he would, sadly, die at the hospital about 14 hours later. And that's why we're here. Now, as I mentioned, we are several trials in by the time we get to Donna. So we know the details coming into it of what's actually come out about what happened. This wasn't just any murder. This was a hit, which is why so many people are involved. I mentioned that Katie had 2 trials. Now, Katie was Charlie's girlfriend at the time. And according to Katie, Charlie asked her if she knew anyone who could take someone out. So she went to the father of her children. Yes.
I was like, wait, whoa.
Yes. She went to the father of her children, and he was kind of her on-again, off-again boyfriend, Sigfredo. Sigfredo was actually friends with a known Latin Kings gang member, Luis. And Sigfredo and Luis are the hitmen that we're going to talk about today who killed Dan. Katie was the go-between, obviously, and Charlie would have been the one, obviously, to hire them, right? So that's where we're at going up to Donna's trial. And this is all according to Katie. Charlie, of course, has a different version of events because he's protesting his innocence. But a lot of stuff came out about the divorce. So this was very centered around Wendy and Dan's divorce as the motive. One thing was that Donna had an idea for Charlie and Wendy and Donna to all pitch in $350,000. That's why I said it that way earlier. So that they could all get that $1 million and give it to Dan so that Dan would agree to let them relocate and that he could use that money to travel back and forth to come and see his kids. So they're like, we'll pay you if you'll just agree to it and then use this money. So it's basically a bribe.
Oh, wow.
But it happens a lot. It actually happens quite often in like custody cases and things like that. Because, if you give somebody an incentive, they'll be more likely to agree to what you want to do. But that's still traveling and so much travel. So according to Charlie, he had actually told this part of the plan, this $1 million plan, to Katie. And then Katie kind of leaked it to Sigfredo. So Charlie's saying, no, I didn't pay him to do a hit. He actually was extorting me because he now knows I have money.
What?
Yes. That's what he's saying. Yeah. He actually testified to this at his trial, that he was an innocent man and that Sigfredo took it upon himself to go and kill Dan on his own, even though he didn't know Dan from Bob down the street.
Mm-hmm.
But he went ahead and tracked him down, killed him, and then started extorting Charlie for money, saying, I'm going to tell that you did this if you don't pay me. Makes sense, right?
Mm.
Or maybe it doesn't.
Literally.
Yeah. Now, before I get into the timeline, while we're on the subject of how involved Donna was in this divorce, she also had more suggestions for Wendy, because when she told Wendy about the $1 million, Wendy's like, okay. But Dan's like, no, we're not doing that. Some things that she did not take to Dan that Donna had ideas of were things like, I don't know, what was it? She threatened to baptize the kids. She threatened to take pictures of them in front of a Catholic church where they would soon be attending. And the most unhinged thing was that she threatened to dress them up like Nazi soldiers.
You're kidding.
No, I wish I could say that was a joke, but it is not. It is not. That is 100%. And we know this because of text messages and emails and things like that came out in the trial between Donna and Wendy. And Wendy was like, I absolutely will not. We will not be doing any of that. Mm-mm. And so luckily she had a moment of clarity, I guess we'll call it, because she doesn't have a lot of those either. Now, Wendy would also send her divorce documents to Donna, and Donna would edit them and send them back to Wendy, who would then send them to her attorney. Now, they would testify, or Wendy would, that, Mom wasn't that involved. It wasn't that big of a deal. She was just there for support. Now, it sounds like she's writing your documents for your lawyer. That's pretty heavily involved, if you ask me.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to hear a lot about a TV as well in this case. It's a recurring theme because Charlie bought Wendy a TV as a divorce present, saying that it was cheaper than hiring a hitman. Good job, Charlie. Yes. Now, Wendy would say on the stand that was just a bad joke. It wasn't funny. And it made her stomach flip every time he'd tell it, because apparently he told it more than once. He thought it was hilarious. And there's a lot of details in this case. We're not going to get to all of them, of course, because there's years and years and years. But we're going to go through like the state's closing arguments in Donna's case to give you a breakdown. I think that's the easiest way to do it. In early June of 2014, because that's how long ago this happened, Charlie gave Katie a couple $100 so that the hitman could rent a car. Now, okay, Charlie, they took it upon their own, but you're paying for the rental cars?
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, sorry, I get off track. They rent the car on June 2nd. Katie said that she dropped Sigfredo off at the rental car place, and then she immediately called Charlie. They have phone records showing that. Call records also showed that Charlie then immediately called Donna. And, well, he called Donna and Harvey's landline. So defense is like, how do you know he called Donna? And they were like, well, because right after he got off the phone from calling that landline, he called Harvey's cell phone. So why would he call Harvey at home and then immediately call him on his cell phone? Like, it's obviously he talked to Donna. So there you go. On June 4th, Sigfredo and Luis go to Tallahassee, and they follow Dan around for a day and a half. But they eventually lose him, so they end up just coming back home. On June 7th, Charlie texted Donna that he's, quote, still working on Dad's birthday present, end quote. What are you doing? What's that, Charlie? Yeah. Now, oldest son Rob would testify that no one brought presents to Harvey's 70th birthday party because Harvey didn't want presents. He just wanted everyone to get together to have patio paella. Yeah. Paella. Now on June 11th, Wendy's boyfriend Jeff is at her house when they go to watch a movie with the kids. And the kids complained the whole time because the TV had impact damage on it. So like it looked like the screen had been punched or something on one side. So the movie is really hard to watch because the screen's messed up and the kids are complaining the whole time. They want to go to watch it on a different TV. And Wendy insists that they stay there and watch it on that TV.
Oh, the TV that was cheaper than a hitman?
Yeah, the same TV. That TV. Yes. So I think they were making the point that she was really trying to drill it home that somebody knew that TV was broken.
Mm-hmm.
Right? In June. The prosecution also showed a picture. It was taken on June 17th of Katie and Wendy at the beach. Now, I bet you're wondering, why is that important? They're at the beach. It's because Wendy testified that she barely even knew Katie and that she only spent time with Katie when she was with Charlie. But now they're like, what about this picture of you and her at the beach? Was Charlie at the beach? And she said, no, Charlie was not at the beach. So there's proof that she has hung out with Katie on her own. So she could have possibly put some wheels in motion since Katie is the middleman. So they're throwing that doubt in there or throwing shade at Wendy, however you want to look at it. Yeah. So she's not letting on to everything. And on July 1st, something so small yet so big happened. After an altercation between Sigfredo and Charlie on the streets, Sigfredo tried to call Charlie. Now, the interaction wasn't like a big deal. Well, it was. They didn't interact at all in real life. But I guess Sigfredo had cut Charlie off, jumped out of the car. So they had like a verbal altercation and Charlie took off. So Sigfredo was still pissed and he wanted to talk to Charlie. So he started looking up phone numbers, trying to get a hold of Charlie. But instead of getting Charlie, he got Harvey. And it was only a 37-second phone call because he realized this is not the guy I'm trying to cuss out, right? Mm-hmm. And so that is small, right? It's not a big deal. What does that even matter? It matters because the police had no clue about Sigfredo when they were doing their investigation. So they did a tower dump and saw this 37-second phone call. And that's what gave them Sigfredo's name. That's what tied him to this case.
Shoot.
Had he not been a hothead and tried to Google Charlie's phone number and ended up at Harvey's, they would have probably not put the two together unless somebody talked, which there's a lot of talking in this case. So it probably would have came out eventually, but that's what tied him to it. So he only has himself to blame for that one. a couple of days after this, Evites go out for Harvey's 70th birthday party. And Donna would say it was actually Harvey who sent out these Evites, not her. She didn't. He obviously sent out his own birthday invitations.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. The reason this is important is because they listed, or she listed, Wendy's kids with the last name of Adelson. This was before Dan was even killed.
Yeah, already trying to erase Dan.
Right. Right. And she's like, I didn't do that. Harvey did it. He must have messed up. But then Harvey himself had said some people showed up to the party he was surprised to see because he didn't know they were coming. Thought you invited them, Harvey.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, on July 6th, Wendy texted Dan asking if he would be in Tallahassee on the 14th through the 18th, saying she wanted to know if she could have the kids on the 16th. He says, yes, you can. That's all he replied. The problem with this is that she was already scheduled to have the kids on the 16th. So belief is that she was just making sure that he was going to be in town. Because remember, he was shot on the 18th.
Yeah.
So she's just trying to solidify some plans, is what it looks like. Mind you, she has not been arrested yet, so keep that in mind all these years later. Her boyfriend, Jeff, testified that after this, Wendy told him she wasn't going to be able to move to Miami unless something happened to Dan. And that Charlie had looked into hiring a hitman. Hey, Jeff. He's spilling all the tea.
Yeah, literally.
Now we're on July 15th. Okay. Sigfredo and Luis are now renting a green Prius. And we know that they rented a green Prius because they did it in their real names.
Why?
Because people be peopling.
I guess so.
You think you're never going to get caught. And so you just...
How unprofessional.
Right? It's like they've never heard a true crime podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, the next day they head to Tallahassee. They stay in a couple of hotels along the way. So the cops are literally just following their trail once they get on the trail. The day of the shooting at 8:11 a.m., Donna texted Wendy. So Donna had scheduled a TV repair for that busted TV. And it happened to be that morning from 8 to noon. So she did it under her name, though, because she's the one who they say purchased the TV, even though Charlie purchased the TV. Either way, Donna got the notification that the repairman was on his way. So she texted Wendy, repairman's headed your way. And this is like, what, a month after Jeff said it was broken? So it's literally just been sitting there. But all of a sudden, today's the day. So it looks a little suspicious. It could be nothing. Could be everything. Could be an alibi. So the repair was actually scheduled, like I said, from 8 to noon. But this was very early. So he was coming early. And at 8:20 a.m., Wendy texted Charlie, quote, "This is so sweet," end quote. Now, there was no context to this text message. Nobody knows what it was about, what it was regarding. But then she deleted it. So we know that. We know it was gone. By the time the cops got her phone later that day, gone. At 9:04 a.m., Dan leaves Wendy a voicemail saying that he's going to the gym. Bro, stop spreading your business. But he wanted to know if he could get the boys early that afternoon to take them swimming after school. Wendy says no. No, you're not picking them up early. You'll get them at the regular scheduled time, blah, blah, blah. But then phone records show that she had an 18-minute phone call with Charlie. And then she suddenly texted Dan and said, sure, go ahead and pick them up. Go ahead and take them swimming. You're good.
Well, they knew it wasn't going to matter.
Yeah, because he was going to be shot at 10:45, remember? So sure, you can take them because it's never going to happen.
Knock yourself out, bud.
The train, when you read these in order, like if you get a timeline, that's why I like a timeline. Things just stick out so bad. I'm sure one individual thing is not a big deal, but when you start accumulating these things, it blows my mind. Surveillance at the gym shows that Dan arrived and then the green Prius arrived. Dan left at 10:38 and the Prius followed him out of the parking lot. No one got out of the Prius when it was in that parking lot. So they sat there the whole time waiting. And then at 10:45, Dan is shot in his garage as he arrives home. At 10:51, the Prius is on surveillance footage from the side of a city bus. And that surveillance shows 2 men inside that Prius. Luis is driving and Sigfredo is in the passenger seat. So that to me is some detective work. When you start pulling city bus side cameras and tracking these people, like you're really in your job because you want to be there.
Mm-hmm.
That's some good stuff. I like it. So, because they didn't have their cell phones turned on at this time either. So they did do that. Luis and Sigfredo did turn their cell phones off so that their cell phones couldn't track them. I mean, it tracked them all the way to Tallahassee, but it couldn't track them that day and their route and them following him. It didn't track that. So they did think that far ahead, but as soon as they turn them phones back on, they shoot him. They head south, right? So at 12:30, they turn their phones back on. So almost 2 hours after the shooting. And the first call Sigfredo makes is to Katie. Like, to me, that's the it's done, get started on my money, girl. Get it coming. I want it now. Police track down Wendy. And where's Wendy? She's having lunch with her friends. And they bring her down to the police station. It's just, we'll talk about that in a little bit too, but I think right here might be a good place to try to do an ad from today's sponsor. Remember, I'm doing this on my own. No, Darren. So we're going to pretend like I know what I'm doing. And this went very smoothly. Right?
Oh, yeah.
See you in a minute.
If you're in a heated argument with your dryer, don't worry. You'll both cool down eventually. Or maybe you just need a washer and dryer. Don't get agitated. Take a load off.
Get your laundry set from My Laundry Solutions and let them iron out your problems. If you live in an apartment, get your set from them. They service them, and they have locations in Texas, Oklahoma, and Missouri. The most recent area is Lubbock, Texas, around the Tech Terrace area, with more locations coming
So give them a call today, 800-535-4411.
Or go online to mylaundrysolutions.com.
And let them wash your troubles away.
Smooth. That was way smoother than last time.
Oh, yeah.
If you're not watching the video, you're not seeing my struggle. Do what?
I said we're getting the hang of it.
We are. We're nailing it. Nailing it. All right. Let's bring Donna back into this because it's her trial, right? At 7:04 p.m. So this is way later. Wendy calls Donna while she's in an interview room with police to tell her that Dan has been shot because at this point, Dan is in critical condition at the hospital and they're trying to save his life. Wendy, of course, is at the police station. Donna apparently has no idea what's going on. Listening to this, because you can hear Donna through the phone. She's that loud, or Wendy's phone is that loud. And she interrupts Wendy several times while Wendy's trying to tell her this heartbreaking news. But Donna just says, you mean put it on speaker? What do you mean? She's doing the mom thing. I do it. Anyways. But this is not the time. Either way, when she hangs up the phone after she tells Donna and Harvey, I guess, because she put it on speaker, that Dan had been shot, she hangs up the phone and tells the cops that she is relieved that her parents sounded surprised.
Oh, God.
Because at the police station, if you dig into this, you're going to see that Wendy was like telling them, does anybody not like Dan? Well, my parents and my brother, they're not. It's like, okay, lady. Okay. You forgot the assignment. Yes. So at 8:59 p.m., so this is a couple hours later, Donna texted Charlie, outside your house. And Charlie texted back 10 men, meaning 10 minutes. Now, Donna's defense attorneys would say that her saying that she was outside his house, did not actually mean that she was outside of his house.
Well, what the hell is it supposed to mean?
I don't know, but it wasn't that.
Slang these days.
I know. It's so weird. How do I keep up? So at 10 p.m., Katie goes to Charlie's house and he tells her that his parents just left. Still doesn't mean they were there. That's what her defense says. They take a Xanax and they go to sleep. The next morning, Charlie tells Katie that the money is in the trunk of her car. She doesn't look at it. She just leaves and goes straight to Sigfredo's house, where he gets the money out of the trunk. So she still has not looked at it. But of course, he takes it out of the bag or whatever, and he's like digging through it, right? He's counting it out, making sure it's all there. She testified that she had to get a hold of Charlie and ask him why the money was damp and moldy. And he said it's because Donna had washed it.
Oh. What?
Like
Okay.
physically washed it.
Oh, that's funny.
Yes. I don't know if she was trying to get rid of evidence, fingerprint evidence, DNA evidence. I don't know if she thought that's what money laundering was. I don't know what she was doing, but it makes no sense. And it was gross.
And it was gross.
Yes. But don't think that they're not going to spend damp, moldy money. Like money's money. So it's still getting done. Now, as far as Luis, you'll notice that I didn't mention that he had a trial. That's because he took a deal. He testified that the total amount that they got was $100,000. He got $35,000 of that, and he bought a motorcycle, right? Why not? Sigfredo got an undisclosed amount since he was the shooter, but we know that he got a motorcycle and a car, so he got a good chunk. Katie says that she did not count her money. So according to her, she has no idea how the money was. Well, I mean, as far as like in her trunk and stuff, she didn't look at it. She didn't touch it to get it out of the trunk. She didn't count it when she got her cut. She just did whatever. I mean, come on, Katie. But she did get breast augmentation with it. So we know she spent money. She had money.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm pretty sure she had a spike in her bank account that they brought up at trial too, showing that she had some money. So, but either way, she testifies she never knows how much she actually got. And an interesting fact about Katie is that she too was offered a deal. Immunity, actually. Yeah. And she turned it down because she would have had to testify against Sigfredo, and she refused to testify against her children's father.
First to talk, first to walk.
Right.
Come on, girl.
And it would have been full immunity. Like she would have been done and been home with her children.
Yeah.
Instead of being in prison. But now she's in prison along with the father of her children. So choices, people, choices. But after her conviction, she was more than happy to testify against Charlie and Donna. She has no ties to them. She doesn't care. Yeah. Even saying that Charlie used to staple his money in $1,000 increments. He also had another ex-girlfriend that testified that she had seen him with money stapled together. And that's how that money was in the trunk that they got out of the trunk. It was stapled in $1,000 increments. So definitely came from Charlie. That's one more thing to tie back to the Adelsons.
I've never seen money stapled, so that's a little hard to picture. Like,
Well,
it's just like, probably just hundreds, right?
Yeah, I imagine.
Okay.
Yeah, I would imagine. Moldy $100 bills stapled together. Now back to Donna. Her and Harvey did go to Charlie's that night, if you believe that or not. And then they went to a hotel on the 19th. On the 20th, they brought Wendy and the kids back to Tallahassee, where they moved in with them. So within 2 days, within 48 hours of Dan dying, Wendy got what she wanted, and she was in Tallahassee. I'm sorry, in Miami. She hated Tallahassee. She talked shit on Tallahassee the whole time. And then she's like, oh, it wasn't too bad. She talked shit the whole time. Sorry, Tallahassee. Now, on the trip south, when they were going to Miami, a detective called Wendy and wanted to talk to her. But Wendy said that the call was breaking up and she had to hang up the phone. So the prosecutor asked her if this was a call where she didn't have a good signal, or was it one of those, I can't hear you, crinkle, 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 crinkle. Like,
I'm going through a tunnel.
yes, yes. And she says, oh no, it was just a bad phone call. It was just bad service. You know, I wouldn't have hung up on them cops. You know, that's rude. But the next time the police got in contact with her, she instructed them to speak to her lawyer from here on out if they had any further questions. Yeah. I think it was a stall tactic.
Mm-hmm.
And Rob would testify that Donna told him, do not talk to the FBI. And Rob was like, well, I already did. Too late. And she said, quote, well, you don't know anything anyway, end quote. Yes.
Okay.
Doesn't know anything about what, Donna?
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't know anything about what? Now, Dan's funeral was on July 24th in his homeland of Canada. Wendy nor the children attended that funeral. So, no thanks, I guess. In August, I went ahead of myself. In August, Donna was registering the kids for sports and stuff, and she was also using the last name of Adelson. So, they're still carrying through the theme.
Mm-hmm.
They're powering forward. I couldn't get that word out. On September 17th, the first of 44 total checks from the Adelson Institute to Katie McBanawa was issued. Now, what do I mean by that? This is part of her payment for the hit. So she got a smaller amount than the rest of the guys up front, but then they put her on fake payroll. So she's on the payroll, but she's not working there. She said that she needed it to look like she had income for insurance purposes for her kids. So they would literally give her a stack of checks at a time, because all the checks that were cashed by her were sequential. And payroll is not sequential if you have more than one employee.
Mm-mm.
I'm just saying. This is another tie to Donna, because Donna's signature is the one that was on all those checks. Why are you paying her, Donna? If you don't know anything and you have nothing to do with it, why?
What does she even do? She don't even go here.
She doesn't even go here. Right. Now, Rob, he's having a hard time because, Donna is very involved. She's very controlling with her kids and what they're doing. And so Rob is having a very hard time with the lack of concern that this family is showing. They're acting like it never even happened. And so he would ask Donna, who do you think did this? And she would say, I don't know, and I don't care. It doesn't concern me. Donna. The police were having a hard time too. They were putting two and two together at this point. They're trying to get these people, all these people involved. And they wiretapped the Adelson's phones. So you hear a lot of code talking, even though they say they don't talk in code. Okay. But they weren't getting any real proof. So as time is going by, they're getting frustrated too. So they decide to do a bump. So Donna's on her way down the sidewalk to get the kids from school on April 19th of 2016. So it's been a while. She's walking down the sidewalk when a man approaches her. Now they have all this on video and audio, of course, because this is undercover. At this point, Luis, you need to know, is in jail in another county for unrelated offenses. So everyone else is out on the streets. So this man hands her a piece of paper on the street, and he says that he knows her family has been taking care of Katie and her friend after their problem up north was solved. And so his brother is incarcerated, and they want to make sure that he's taken care of too. So he's pretending to be Luis's brother. She didn't look at that piece of paper. She just put it in her pocket or her purse, whatever it was, and walks away. She went down to the school, got the kids, walked back down the same street that she had just walked down, and took them home.
Oh, so she wasn't scared at all.
Apparently
at
not.
all.
Apparently not. Some random man approaches you, and that's kind of a threat. I mean, we want to make sure you're taking care of our boy, right?
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't be going back down the street with two small kids by myself. Anyways, the paper said that they wanted $5,000. So she calls Charlie, and this is on the recorded line. She's trying to talk in code, and Charlie is just not picking up on it. He's asking her, does it involve me or other people? And she says, well, probably the both of us, probably the two of us. So you probably have a general idea what I'm talking about. And he wants to know what they asked for. So he's starting to pick up on, okay. This is about Dan. So he's like, what do they want? And she says, quote, the TV was probably about 5, end quote. So here's that TV again. And he says, They asked you for $5,000? Charlie, you're not slick. You're not slick. It's like, okay, sure. Wow. And he would, when he was on trial, they kept asking him about the TV code. What was TV code for? You know, and he would get so mad and be like, I don't know why y'all are so stuck on this TV being code. There's no TV mentioned by the undercover cop. There's no TV mentioned on the paper that they gave Donna. The only time the TV is mentioned is by Donna, and he immediately knows what she's talking about.
Okay, Donna.
Hi.
Sorry. Donna was at least trying, so Charlie's just stupid. He's
Right.
just dumb.
He's dumb. Yes, and he talks nonstop. If you ever have to listen to any of this or want to and you dive into it, get ready to hear the monologue of Charlie because he loves to hear himself.
And ranting about TVs.
Nuh-uh, because TV's not code.
Mm-hmm.
They don't talk about TVs.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, I mean, the TV is, if you believe it, the TV would be the alibi for Wendy at the time of the shooting. So TV's a recurring theme throughout the case, Charlie. Anyways, the bump did its job, right? That's what they wanted. They wanted to get him talking about it again because they had stopped talking about it. Charlie, talks to his mom, and then he meets with Donna for a face-to-face conversation. And they actually went, they're outside and they're at a place where they actually can't hear what they're saying. They have video of them at this meeting, but they can't hear what's being said. So, okay, they're getting a little better. They were able, however, to get video of him having lunch with Katie. So after he meets with Donna, he has Katie meet him for lunch. And they go into a restaurant, so they're inside. And the undercover just goes a couple tables down, sets his little satchel down or whatever that has a hidden camera in it. So it's pointed at them. We have video. Charlie talks very loudly, so there's audio. And they're in this restaurant just having full-on conversations about what's going down. So, good job. You're doing great. Needless to say, Sigfredo was arrested in May of 2016. Luis was extradited for his charges because remember, he's in another county. So they extradite him in June. And then Katie was arrested in October. Now, when Sigfredo was arrested, it was 2 days later that Donna called Rob, her oldest, the one who's out of the loop. And she wasn't calling to tell him, hey, there's been an arrest in Dan's case. She was calling him to tell him happy anniversary because it was his anniversary. And so he waits for her to mention this because he's seen it on the news, right? She never mentions it. So he does. He was like, hey, I saw that they made an arrest in the case. And Donna immediately says she has to get off the phone, and he has not talked to his mother since. That was literally the last conversation they had with his mom.
Oh, wow.
How sad is that? That's so sad. Charlie wouldn't be arrested until April of 2022, and Donna started making plans. She said that she would be next. Like she's telling people, I know I'm next. One of the most damning things was that Charlie was convicted on November 6th of 2023, right? On November 7th, the next day, police have the communications between Donna and a woman named Daisy, where Donna is working to get a fast-track emergency visa to head to Vietnam. She had been Googling non-extradition countries, and Vietnam was the one that she chose to go to. She kept a physical planner, instead of like on your phone. Back in the day, we had the big, you open it up and you got a calendar, you got all the things. She kept one of those still. And a couple years after Dan and Wendy got a divorce, she had Dan's license plate number, model, make of car. Like she had all of his information that, I don't know, a hitman might need to go track them, follow them around, find them. Anyways, she had all that in there, which was suspicious. But after Charlie gets convicted, or while Charlie's getting convicted, she has notes in that planner that say things like cancel insurance, stop Amazon deliveries, and tell Wendy to tell Charlie's lawyers that they were going to Vietnam so that the lawyer could tell Charlie on the unrecorded jailhouse line. Now, Donna why would you need to tell your son that you're going to Vietnam on an unrecorded line that the police can't listen to?
Well, because she was running.
Because she was running like Forrest Gump. She was on the move. She would later say, no, I was only going to Vietnam on vacation. Is it illegal to take a vacation? I was stressed. I needed a break. So much was going on. With her one-way ticket, Donna.
I don't know when I'm coming back.
Literally.
It'll be soon, though. Don't worry.
Sure, cops. Just wait right here. I'll be right back.
Mm-hmm.
She was arrested a week after Charlie's conviction at the airport trying to board that plane to Vietnam. So they literally let her go ahead and scan her ticket and get ready to get on the plane. That way they had proof that she wasn't backing out. Like, because she could have went to the airport, and if they would have arrested her before she got to the gate, she could have said, oh, I've changed my mind. I wasn't even going to go. But they waited for her to scan the ticket so that they had extra proof.
Oh, my gosh.
Yes. I'm telling you, they cut it close. And then, so she's in jail now, right? So a former inmate of her, Miss Bird, testified that Donna wanted her to say that she had been in jail with Katie before and that Katie actually took all the blame. That Katie is the one who set all this up, not Donna. Now, Donna was like, if you do this, then I'll get you some land. I'll get you a trailer to put on it so that you can live in it. And I'll get you some veneers for your teeth. Yeah. Now, Donna also had a jailhouse daughter that she called her a jailhouse daughter, but her name was Miss Bernhardt, who produced a whole script that Donna had wrote out for her to tell the police. So it's literally written like, you say this, they'll probably ask this. So you say this, just a whole ass script. Now, if she would stick to that script, saying that Donna had nothing to do with it, then she would get things like, well, she was getting packages from Donna, because you can get packages in jail, like treats and stuff like that. Donna was letting her use her card to call her family, because you got to have money on your card to be able to call people. And so Donna's like, I got money, use my card. She was going to give her cameras, a piano. I don't know what she's going to do with the piano in prison. $10,000 and access to a doctor to get whatever pills she wanted. That doctor would prescribe her whatever, whenever, which is shitty because Miss Bernhardt was working on her sobriety. And so she was really pissed off about that. Like, that was too far for even her. She was like, you don't care about me. You don't care about what I'm doing because fuck your sobriety. You know what I mean? Like, no, you don't care about her. Needless to say, all of this comes down to Miss Donna being found guilty on September 4th of this year, 2025. She has been told several times, or had been told in court several times, to fix her face, because you can't be showing emotion like she was doing and doing the things that she was doing in court because it sways the jury. You just can't do it. But when they said the guilty verdict, all you heard was, oh my God, oh my God. Like she busted out again. So the judge had to have the jury actually leave the courtroom after they did the verdict and tell her again to get her shit together. Like, he's like, I'm not going to do this. I've told you. And she's just, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, all over the place. Like, you didn't know this was coming. Was you not watching the same trial? Anyways, judge wanted to do sentencing immediately, which makes sense because in Florida, it's a life sentence. Like, there's no getting around it. It's life. It's mandatory. You're not going to change it. Florida does not fuck around. But her lawyers asked for time. They was like, Charlie got time in between his conviction and sentencing, so it's only fair Donna gets it too. So he's like, fine. October 14th at 2:30, they're going to sentence Donna, which we already know what it's going to be. So everybody's just going to watch to see her reaction, but she shouldn't have one because she knows what she's getting. Shouldn't be a surprise. But now the big question is, what do you think it is?
What about Wendy?
What about Wendy? Now, Wendy does have immunity, but it's not the same immunity that Katie had. Hers is immunity for anything she said on the stand. So they can't like say, well, you said in court this, this, and this. But anything outside of trial or anything that they found, any of her text messaging they already have, all that kind of stuff. That's fair game. That's open. They can definitely charge her using that. And I feel like we've gone through several things that, not all the things, we haven't even gone over all the things that Wendy did, but we've gone through several of them. And I think they have a pretty good case, especially since they got all these prior convictions for the same, everybody in her family. Anyways. Let's see. Oh, there's also Harvey. So everybody's questioning Harvey's involvement as well, because Donna kind of tried to push some of her stuff up on Harvey. Like, he's the one who sent those Evites and said the kid's last name were Adelson before their dad even died, blah, blah, blah. And then Harvey was getting phone calls from Charlie right after they'd talked to Donna and things like that. So it's like, how much did Harvey know? Or how much did he not know? Know what I mean? So Donna, of course, has already filed for a new trial. She already said, this is wrong. I should get a whole new trial. These things were so bad, because she said jurors were on social media, but they're allowed to as long as they're not talking about the case. And she questioned the credibility of Miss Bird, because Miss Bird actually did change her story more than once. And then the credibility of Miss Bernhardt, because she is looking at a lengthy prison stay, because she has a lengthy criminal history. And so she's like, she can't be credible because she's trying to make a deal to get her sentence reduced. And so she pulled that up. There's a lot of things that she cites in it, but no matter what, she got denied either way because there's so much more evidence. I mean, even if you take all those things out, there's still all this other stuff that points to her knowing exactly what was going on, exactly what happened. So what do you do with that, Donna? So she got denied. So now I guess we're just waiting for her sentencing, and then whether or not Wendy or Harvey gets it next. Because like I said, it took them years and years to get here, and I would think that they'd want to strike while the iron is hot. But the prosecutor kind of needs a break because she's been prosecuting everybody, and she's like, I'm tired, boss. So she's trying to take a minute. But Dan's poor family has had no contact with the boys, as you can probably guess. It's really like the Adelson's world around there, and you're just lucky if you can get it close to it. It's very weird. And that's all we have on this case for now. But I do want to mention one more thing about Wendy that I did not throw in there. What stood out to me was, remember, she had that TV repair that morning. Then she said that she left there and had to go to a liquor store because she had been invited to a Stock at the Bar party. And she had been told to pick up a specific bottle of bourbon, right? So she drives literally across town in Tallahassee to a liquor store to get this bourbon. Well, she also just happened to go down Dan's street while she was over there. She couldn't get down it, though, because the police had already blocked it off because Dan had already been shot, right? So she pulls up, turns around, and takes off. She doesn't ask the cop what's going on. She doesn't tell them that her ex-husband lives down there. She doesn't call the school to make sure that the boys are there and safe. She doesn't call Dan to make sure that he is safe. She literally goes to that lunch with her friends, and that's where the cops found her and told her that Dan had been shot. Why? Why would you not? Why would you not make sure your kids were okay and made it to school that day?
That makes no sense to me.
It just it's glaring that there's something more going on around there. Just saying. You think Wendy will be next, or you think they're going to let her go?
Weirdly enough, I feel like with those phone calls, they're probably going to be picking up Harvey next.
You think Harvey?
Maybe.
Everybody's so stuck on Wendy.
I'm just saying. Because, I don't know.
It could be either. It could be both.
Also, you said that, I don't know how to say his name.
Sigfredo?
Yeah. So he Googled.
Well, he was looking it up. He was looking up numbers, trying to find numbers.
And we hired you. We hired you, buddy.
Yeah, but it all went through Katie.
Yeah, I know.
He didn't know.
I don't know, man. I do feel like it's going to be Harvey next, though.
Okay. We're going to keep our eye out for Harvey and Wendy.
Sorry, Harv.
Poor Harv was in trial the whole time, just like antsy. This baby was
The whole
going
time
down.
he's like,
Yeah, this is ludicrous what they're doing to my wife. Okay, Harv. Anyways, if you like our content, please be sure to like, share, and subscribe.
and don't forget to tell your friends.
There you go. Good job. Made your dad proud. All right, that'll do it on this one. Catch us on the next one. Okay, bye. The stick.